You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. We catch up with the Irish lads across the water this evening, and we also say goodbye to two Irish legends. And we also speculate, is Evan Ferguson off to West Ham with Graham Potter? It's Lansdowne Raw, and it's live. Right, welcome to Lansdowne Raw. I'm Martin Prendergast, and I'm joined again by Conor McAvoy this evening of Rep Tracker. Do give us a good follow there at Rep Tracker to find out about all the lads, all the young Irish players, obviously. If you're joining the show for the first time, we are both Irish football fans. Lansdowne Raw's been going for a couple of years now, and we chat all things Irish football. We want your comments this evening, as we're going to chat about the latest transfer news, speculation about moves for some big players. We've actually got some breaking news on one Irish international who might be moving to London. So me and Dave, our usual host, will be able to join and catch up with him soon. So Conor, how are you doing? You all right?
I'm absolutely buzzing. There's just something in the air tonight. I don't know what it is about the podcast, but I'm buzzing. I don't know. It's just a new host or something on tonight. He seems to be a lot better than the old guy. I don't know what it is about the old fella. I'm just glad he's gone. Got him the sack.
Yeah.
I think we're better off in the long term without him. It's just a nuisance, I think.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we will be nice to Dave. He's like a expectant player, and as I said earlier, he's very worried about how we're going to be let off the leash this evening, and we're going to mess it up basically. But I think we've done all right with the intro. I was a bit nervy there, to be honest, but you know, Dave's got this down to an old hat now. He's a wiser head on how he does it. But yeah, lots of news in Irish football, of course, that we will be covering, and we do want your comments. It's really important. If you can follow the show as well, follow us on YouTube, subscribe at Lansdowne Road, and as I said, follow Conor on Rep Tracker on X as well. Be great.
Make sure you
do
smash
that.
that like button as well.
Yeah, smash the like button and get as many views as possible. We'd love to have a show this evening where we have our biggest audience watching along with us this evening, because it will really piss Dave off. So even if you've got an old laptop or a kid's phone hanging around or an iPad, just log in, watch the show on that as well. So you can do it via different devices. It'd be very, very appreciated. We will obviously be covering our boys in green this evening, but I think we'll start off that Conor with some news this week. I want to get your views on this, of course, and obviously do comment in the comment button there. Let us know your thoughts. Some great news, I think, was the reappointment of an extension of a contract with Jim Crawford with the under-21s. Conor, what's your thoughts on that?
First of all, I think it's a bit of a weird reaction to it online. I'm sure you think the same, Martin, of a lot of people saying about bottling this, bottling that, but I think it's very harsh to have a go at Jim Crawford for any of the results over the past couple of years. Yes, maybe people give out team selections, etc., but in terms of setting a team up and having them the right way to go going into these big games, there was like, if you look at all of the games the 21s played, particularly in the last this campaign just gone, they could have won every single game, and it usually was things that cost them was silly individual mistakes or a poor referee decision that cost them in the end. But I'm happy to see Jim Crawford get a new contract, to be honest, because it's a hard thing with under 21s managers getting someone that really, really is invested and wants to be in it for the long term and would pick it over a lot of club jobs we've seen in the past. He's decided not to go for League of Ireland jobs because he's so invested in this 21 side, and you can tell he wears his heart in his sleeve with it and how emotional he was after not qualifying there. And I think that's the biggest thing you need, that he is someone who wants to be there and wants to develop players. And I do think it's the best option for Ireland in the long run is keeping him in charge.
I think, yeah, I'd agree with you there, especially like we've both been fortunate that we've been on press conferences with Jim Crawford with the under-21s. And I think, he comes across really, really well. I think he really understands the job of an under-21 manager. And I know even with the speculation, last year with Lee Carsley possibly leaving under-21s of England to come to take the Ireland job. But, I think Jim really gets the under-21 job. He knows that, I'm getting players ready for the first team. He didn't have a problem, even when Sinclair Armstrong was called up for the France game that time, and Ireland were playing as well, the under-21s. He has no problem with that, because that's what he sees the ultimate job as being. So yeah, I think it's good. I mean, look, the FAI get a lot of things wrong, and we know they do listen. And Dave will probably be worried about his landlords now if I ever dare moan about the FAI. But they do get a lot of things wrong. But I think this is a good thing. I think Jim's really, really good. I think he does know the job, and I do think there is a massive overreaction, and I think as well. I mean, Conor, as I've said there, people should follow you on Rep Tracker because you cover all the Irish players, of course. But people just don't seem to realise this talented crop of players we do have coming through. So I think that's important as well to know that he really does do a great job with them. Some other news as well. Just want to. Sorry, go on.
On Jim, there's a big thing with him is of things coming through, like, and trying to promote his thing is it's more I know at the end of the day that you do want to win games, you want to breed a winning culture, but it is about developing players. And like ranking wise, Ireland went from 30th in Europe to 16th, and 10 of the players he capped in his 2 campaigns in charge have gone on to play for the Ireland first team. So, and that number will grow and grow over the next couple of years. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very good. We've spoken about Stephen Kenny fast tracking some of the younger players in the past, and one of those now will focus on actually Troy Parrott. Like if you think about Troy, he was fast track basically playing in the underage tournaments and stuff, and came in. And again, he's another player. I mean, this is him. Just a quick photo of him up there winning the Netherlands Player of the Month there. And yeah, look. Again, we'll talk about Evan Ferguson later on, but fair play. Troy moved away, took a chance to, probably took himself out the limelight, like leaving, obviously Spurs, where he was obviously kind of half released, I suppose. But it's important as well. He was very much one of those players fast tracked into senior football very early, and we had high expectations for him. Obviously, he did so well as a youngster. And I think as well, a lot of people will be very negative about him, like they are about Jim Crawford sometimes. There's a big negativity about Irish football. One of the reasons we obviously do the podcast as well and the show is just because we want to be positive. We're Irish fans. It costs us money to go into games. It's a choice to do so. But, what's your thoughts on Troy and how he's getting on?
I'm absolutely delighted with it, to be honest, because some of the stuff you read about Troy over the last couple of years has just been on. He's a 22-year-old lad who's barely even new into the senior game of football. Like, he's had a lot of unnecessary pressure put on his shoulder. I think it's more helpful now that he has the likes of Ferguson and Tom Cannon and Sinclair Armstrong and Adam Eda there as well, that it's not all said, oh, Troy Parrott is a savior of Irish football. He can just go and he can develop. And like we've seen, I don't know if you've seen him, Martin, but the interview he did last week, it was one of them TikTok games of who's better, Troy Parrott, the striker. I think some of the reactions to that was crazy, in fairness, because he's a young striker who's scoring goals for fun. Why wouldn't he back himself and he's better than most of the strikers named? Obviously, some of them he's not better than, but you still have to back him. He's having a brilliant season. He had a brilliant season last year. He actually missed a couple of big chances the other day, but I think that's the thing with Troy Parrott, is just sometimes his consistency in front of goal, but he's getting to the stage more often than not. He's taking these chances. And one of the biggest things you find with him is the confidence he has, because you see with a lot of strikers, their head goes after one chance and that's them gone. He seems to be the type that he missed one chance, he doesn't care. He'll go again and he'll take his next chance.
Yeah, I did like that little TikTok video. It was quite interesting, wasn't it? This is the one where, just for people who may not be aware, he's like put him up against a certain player and he has to back whether he thinks he's better or not. So putting himself up against top strikers, obviously. But yeah, he was going, no, I back myself, and I thought it was really, really good, actually. Look, it doesn't appeal to everyone, that kind of thing, but fair play, confident lads. I mean, look back again. I don't want to be too negative looking back on that first window last year when John O'Shea was in charge of the team, and Troy didn't get any minutes at all. I think it was a kind of travesty overall. And I do think we have a lot to expect of him, but I think he's been very brave making that move, and it's worked out for him so far. So yeah. Best of luck to him.
He still has a long way to go. You have to say, he still has a long way to go. I think I've seen a lot of people saying that he has to be our starting striker or whatever. It's not like we've no other options. He's still not the finished article, but you can see what he has, and he's a unique type of player, what he can offer to a team. So I'm very invested in how his next couple of years will go.
Yeah, we do want to hear from you as well, the Raw faithful. What's your views on Troy Parrott? Do you think he is probably a starting player for us, or and also a question, I suppose, to everyone watching as well, is, do you think Evan Ferguson, kind of the hype around him? I know he's not been playing much recently and everything, but he is the kind of great hope for us as a striker coming through. Do you think that's helping Troy Parrott? Has it taken pressure off him? Just one other thing,
Martin, I think we should ask the comments. I feel that should who should start up front for Ireland in March? Should it be Parrott? Should it be Ferguson? Should it be Cannon? Because that's something we like to hear from the fans. Even maybe David McGoldrick could start up front in March, I think. But I do think I think that's a good question to ask fans, because I think a lot of people are mixed opinions on it. So it'd be good to know what the Roar faithful think of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, we will come on to the comments, of course, and I'm already being called out for my this unrealistic kind of thing of that I hate Didsey. I just deal with facts. That's all it is. I love Didsey really, but I just don't get the hype about a lad who scored 1 goal for Ireland. So
8 man of the matches in 13. It's not bad.
No, I can't have it. We can't go there again with that. But look, yep, do let us know who you think is our striker for Ireland, who is the man. And another player, obviously, we'll chat about. Aaron Connolly's on the move. Well, we're going to cover a little bit of transfer speculation if you've got any news for us, Conor. But yeah, Aaron Connolly is off to Millwall.
Yeah, it seems to be as good as done by looks like Gavin Comiskey has said that it looks like a mutual termination of contract. It's a strange one, because usually when that sort of thing happens, a player, you think something's gone wrong or something's involved. But if you listen to what the Sunderland fans have said about him, he actually had done well when he played. He just didn't seem to get the minutes that he deserved, or didn't suit the style of play. Actually, funny enough, he started against Millwall and scored an unbelievable volley, if you remember, Prendy. And
he did, yeah.
Hasn't started a game since, until he played there at the weekend in the FA Cup. But a player of Connolly's quality and potential, I know there's still a lot of question marks around him. Should be playing every week in the Championship, especially last season when you seen with Hull. There was a lot going wrong in his personal life, and he still was scoring a decent amount of goals. And now it seems that things have turned around. He hasn't really got a chance. So I'd like to think that this Millwall move, if he becomes a regular starting striker there, or plays off the left even, that we could see a real impressive and Aaron Connolly that would hope to break back into the Ireland setup.
Yeah, he's one that we've spoken about in the past as well. And I think people, again, were very scathing of him. And we've realised now that some of the pressures he was obviously dealing with, broke through that time. He was the kind of hope for Ireland. And I remember that game where he went through, didn't he? And he missed the opportunity. A little bit like Troy Parrott did in Glasgow as well. These fine moments in games, and it could just turn it for you then. But I also, I've spoken about Aaron Connolly on the show before, and I've always, been around the team hotel a little bit when I go to games. I always found him very aloof and a bit away from the kind of group. But the hype was there. And I think even, he was kind of forgiven a little bit for perhaps how he was. I remember the game where he pulled out the squad and announced that he was on the beach and things like that. And Ireland Stephen Kenny didn't really want that public knowledge, but they released it by the media communications team that time. And a lot of kind of things kind of went against him. But incredibly talented. I'm just going to read from that Roker report, because we did follow this earlier, and it was just from obviously a Sunderland Twitter account, Roker report, and it just said, for any Millwall fans reading, Connolly's not really done anything wrong here. He just doesn't fit in with the way we played. He scored plenty of goals at Hull last season, so still knows where the net is, but we need our striker to have pace and lead the press. He's more of an 18-yard box poacher, I think. He played the full 120 minutes in the Cup against Stoke at the weekend, and he did okay. He seems to be fit at the moment. Coming to Sunderland was probably what he needed to do to get himself back in the saddle, and he'll find himself elsewhere. I mean, look, again, I'd give a lot of praise to Troy Parrott for being so honest with the struggles he's faced with alcohol and things like that. And he's, I was actually just coincidentally reading that article again, which was a great piece, and saying, that he does go to kind of rehab kind of centers or whatever it is, the meetings, AA meetings, nearly every day, and he knows that just that relationship with alcohol wasn't doing him any favors. And again, we just don't know sometimes with some of these players, they're hyped up. You don't know what's going on in the background and their personal circumstances sometimes. And it's a career, obviously, and it's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of publicity about it and coverage, and their lives are analyzed so much. So I think we'd love to see him back in an Ireland shirt. I don't know if that will ever be the case, but because obviously players are coming through now who are, just doing better. And, like we said there about Troy and Evan Ferguson, who we hope gets back as well. Just on Evan Ferguson then, speculation. I know Graham Potter was asked today about whether he would be going to join him at West Ham, and Graham Potter kind of shut that down, saying that, he's not going to talk about any players or actually with any other team at the moment. What's your thoughts though on him? Do you think he needs to move, Conor?
Yeah, definitely. I know video myself and Dave done about players that need to move in this window. I mentioned that West Ham would be a brilliant club for Ferguson to go to. If you look at their squad, they have a very, very talented squad. Doesn't really reflect the way they're playing at the moment. Lopetegui wasn't the manager to take them forward. Graham Potter is a brilliant manager. Obviously, he gave Evan Ferguson his debut a couple of seasons ago with Brighton, and I just think West Ham is the perfect move, especially on loan. It seems that West Ham don't have the funds this January to splash the cash on a striker, and Ferguson, if he can go to West Ham, and the likes of Somerville, Bowen, Paqueta, Kudus behind them, I think is match made in heaven. Like at the moment, they have Fulcrook as their striker. Obviously, Antonio is out for the foreseeable future. I just think it's absolute match made in heaven, especially under a manager like Potter, who will, I think, get the best out of Ferguson. And it could be the turnaround with Ferguson. Obviously, he's injured at the moment, and it seems like he will be injured up until the last week or so of the transfer window. But it seems, by all accounts, he'll be back by the 31st. And we've seen Welbeck return at the weekend for Brighton, and I seen that João Pedro tweeted himself that the scan went well. So there's no reason for Brighton to keep hold of him unless they really are desperate to keep hold of him. I think alone this move this month to West Ham is the best option. Maybe Bournemouth as well. I think Bournemouth would be the other one I'd be very happy with, but I do think West Ham's the best option. I don't know if you think the same.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, I think probably Arsenal, I mean, could come into it a little bit. You know, I know it's Champions League. It's a big step up, I think, playing for Arsenal Champions League. But I mean, you know, look, Jesus got injured yesterday. They've got Saka out as well for a little bit. I know he's not that kind of type of player like they are, but I think, you know, it's something that, you know, they need goals. Arsenal, they're struggling a little bit there, and yesterday the finishing was abysmal against United. Thankfully for us, Conor, wasn't it? I mean, just on the FA Cup, we better cover it because I know that Dave especially is a passionate advocate of the FA Cup, and especially seeing Man United go through in the FA Cup again. Do you think United have turned a corner there, Conor?
I don't know yet. I think it's a bit early to say that yet, Martin. But it seems to be there is improvements to the squad. He seems to be getting more of his favourable starting 11 out at the moment. Obviously, the goalkeeper was changed, but he can see the players that he trusts now and that he wants in the long term. So I'm happy with the way it's starting to turn around, but there's a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, look, FA Cup as well. I was chatting on the show, the last one, actually saying, you know, this is an important one for us, and we'll come on to OBIG soon, where we chat and see where the lads were playing over the weekend. Obviously, FA Cup opportunity for the boys to play, who perhaps are on the periphery of their squads. But you know, a lot of debate over here in London and on TalkSport listening today. You know, Tamworth, brilliant, almost a giant killing there against Tottenham. What's your views, though? I'd be interested to see this. Obviously, I know lots of people follow, you know, the Irish players playing their teams in the FA Cup, of course. But, you know, just on the FA Cup in general, you know, we've got a proud Irish history in that. We've had captains of our team lift a trophy more than a few occasions, actually. And but just on the FA Cup, do you think should it go, you know, they've scrapped the replays now. You know, Tamworth, they've lost out financially there of some money that if they had that replay going to the new White Hart Lane, basically, they would have probably financially been set up for about 3 seasons off that windfall. So they've lost that, basically. And also going to extra time, lots of chat again today, debating this, of course, was just that, you know, when it went to extra time, there's only going to be one winner. You know, you're coming up against professional, like full-time pros at Tottenham who train every day of the week, fitness levels through the roof, and yet you're coming up against Tamworth who play and train twice a week. You know, the levels aren't there after a hard day's work as well. So, you know, what's your views on that? Are you disappointed that the FA have scrapped the FA Cup replays? You know, these teams as well. You know, you think of giant killings in the past. I'm certainly one. I think it should just go straight to penalties if they're going to do it. At least Tamworth would have had more of a chance if it went straight to penalties. And you know, it was. I did enjoy it, though. Seeing Man United win, it was good, and hopefully they've turned a corner. But we'll obviously focus that a little bit on OBIG. But yeah, just give us your views on that as well. If you think about the FA Cup, what your views are. We will just we're looking at the comments already coming through. Thanks for that. Do give some more. Of course, let us know your views. Of course, no David this evening. So this is going to be the best show ever. We're close to getting up to 1,000 viewers, which would be brilliant if we can get up to that. So do send a little message round, send the link round to watch us, and we'll obviously cover all the comments just towards the end of the show. One other thing, just before we go into OBIG, big announcement. These, well, I don't know, they were kind of stealing each other's thunder here, but Niamh Fahey announced her retirement from the Irish women's team, and then a couple of days, well, a day later, I think, was followed by Diane Caldwell, who didn't actually feature very much in the last campaign too much, but yeah, officially have announced their retirement. Any thoughts on that, Conor?
You have to say
Big part of the women's game.
Women don't that. I know enough, Martin, to know that they're both legends of the Irish football and women's team, and both over 100 caps for our country, and they should be extremely proud of their career. And I think the topping off moment for them was qualifying for the World Cup a couple of years ago, and that was the one thing you don't want to live with any regrets as a footballer, especially international footballer. And they got the moment that every Irish person, man or woman, dreams of, was representing their country at a major tournament. And there's nothing bigger than being and more proud than being the first women's team to qualify for a major tournament. So they should be proud of themselves, and they've done the country proud.
Yeah, I mean, great little coverage there as well of the announcements as well. You know, it's just and brilliant words from FAI, Mark Canham, and Paul Cook as well. The president gave some nice comments congratulating the girls on their stellar careers. But yeah, like I do agree with you, Conor, completely. I mean, absolute brilliant that they got to play at the World Cup and got that opportunity. And I was over in Tala for the last game before they went off to Australia, and I actually said best of luck to Niamh Fahey. I was chatting to her a little bit in the stand afterwards because she was with her parents and they were all saying goodbye. It's quite emotional actually seeing it because I know her dad just was telling her how proud he was of her, and yeah, just want to wish her all the best. Met her a few times, Niamh, absolutely brilliant, and Diane, fantastic. So yeah, best of luck in future careers. I mean, I think we'll see them involved hopefully in coaching with the Irish setup, maybe eventually, or within the women's football layer. I know that Stephanie Roach, she's now gone to Shamrock Rovers. I've seen that announced today as a coach. So yeah, it's good. Like, we've got these big names now associated with Irish football over the years, and with the women's game. I think it's great that they're going to be involved in it going forward. So yeah, best of luck to them. Do give us your comments again on that as well. Just let us know your thoughts on the announcement of the retirement of Diane Caldwell and Niamh Fahey. Right, we're going to OBIG.
Well, one more question for the comments. If there's one player that you want to move this window, Irish player, who would it be? Would it be Ferguson, Jake O'Brien? I don't know who else. Omobamidele, but I think he's written the stars. Is there one player that you think needs a move, or one player that no one else has mentioned that you think needs a move?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Do give us your comments. We do want to be the most interactive. We let you have a say. So yeah, give us your comments. Give us your views. We've had enough of Conor now already, and this is where he does shine. This is where Dave, he's not even here this evening, but we know he's watching because he's such a miserable git. He won't let us even have a little bit of a play around on this without him. But yeah, we're going to go on to OBIG now, which we'll focus on the Irish players who are obviously playing for teams in England and Ireland, and obviously around Europe as well. So this is where the facts might be wrong, and it's not my fault if they are. So we're going to concentrate first of all on the goalkeepers. So obviously you start with Caoimhín Kelleher. I've balls this up because I've still got the banner at the top. Get that one off. So this, I'm going to start that again.
Martin.
Yeah, we will restart that. Right, here we go. Right, this is the goalkeepers. We'll have to cut that out. Right, now you can prove us live anyway. So Caoimhín Kelleher, 5-0 win. Played 90 minutes against Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Mark Travers, he was an unused sub for Bournemouth. And Max O'Leary, a 2-1 loss against Wolves. And Josh Keeley is playing on Tuesday for Leyton Orient. And brilliant to see Gavin Bazunu back, 90 minutes, under 21s, in a 5-0 win against Fulham. So Bazunu back. Happy with that, Conor?
Yeah, delighted to see him back. I know it's always a big thing, Kelleher, Bazunu, but it's good to have them all fit and back playing after what has been a horrible injury for Gavin Bazunu. Like, he tore his Achilles 8 months ago, and now he's already back playing, which just shows how elite his mentality is, which is a real positive sign of how far he can go in a game, that he doesn't let moments like this. Obviously it will affect you, but to get back this fast is special. And also it seems like Mark Travers could be on his way out of Bournemouth this month. there was a report last week that Middlesbrough want to take him on loan until the end of the season. A team that could do it, a goalkeeper of that standard, and probably is the one position they really need to strengthen if they want to get promoted this season. We've seen how good they've been this season with all the talent they have, and Carrick's doing a great job. So I'd love to see Travers go there, hopefully get them in the playoffs at least, and hopefully would get a permanent move in the summer from there, because as we all know, his situation at Bournemouth's been a bit of a joke over the last couple of years, in and out of the team, not really been given the chances that he's deserved. So hopefully he can get himself to Riverside.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great move for him, of course. I mean, Kelleher, lots of speculation recently, wasn't there, about him moving when he's obviously been replaced now at Liverpool again. Can you see that happening in January, though?
No, I don't think. I think that's pretty much impossible. I'd imagine you'd feel the same. I think it's just a hope more than anything that will happen.
Yeah. Right, we're going to the defenders. Right, so the defenders captain, Seamus Coleman, interim manager for Everton over the weekend. Darragh O'Shea was an unused sub for Ipswich Town. Nathan Collins played 90 minutes in a 1-0 loss to Plymouth. Liam Scales, 5 minutes in a 4-1 win against Ross County. And Shane Duffy of Norwich, 11 minutes in a 4-0 loss versus Brighton. Mark McGuinness, 90 minutes, 2-0 loss against Nottingham Forest. And Callum O'Dowd was not in the squad for Cardiff City. Matt Doherty, 90 minutes in a 2-1 win versus Bristol City. And Jake O'Brien, 90 minutes and a 2-0 win in the Cup against Peterborough. And Ryan Manning, 90 minutes in a 3-0 win against Swansea. Andrew Omobamidele, where's Omo? Still not in the squad. And Robbie Brady is playing, obviously, for Preston on Tuesday. And Jimmy Dunn was an unused sub for QPR. And that's John Egan, 72 minutes in a 3-1 win against Reading. And Erin Cashin is playing Tuesday for Derby County. And Anselmo Garcia McNulty, 90 minutes in a 1-0 loss against NEC. Will Ferry, 90 minutes, 1-0 win versus St Mirren for Dundee. And James Abankwah was not in the squad for Udinese. And that's your defenders. So, Conor, anything wrong in that one?
No, Dave seemed to do all right with that. I didn't like his little shot at Omobamidele. It seems that people seem to think he would have got a game at the weekend, but I think it's just the fact that he's moving on this month, and why would Forest play a centre half that could possibly get injured would affect the move. But for once, it seems like it comes an FA Cup weekend, and Irish players are getting rested more than Irish players are given a chance. We've seen Jimmy Dunn got rested, Shane Duffy got rested for most of it, even Callum O'Dowd got a bit of a rest the weekend. So it's interesting to see some lads more getting a rest this weekend and more lads getting a chance, which is probably more of a positive than it is usually compared to most FA Cup weekends. Obviously, we've seen some lads get minutes that haven't regularly got them, but obviously Jake O'Brien was great to see get 90 minutes and played very well, but playing against Peterborough isn't what we want to see him playing. We want to see him playing against Premier League sides more often, or get a move this month. But I'd imagine Everton would be very reluctant to let him go this month.
Yeah, I mean, look, Nathan Collins as well, and he played a few minutes there for Brentford, losing as well to Plymouth, bottom of that league as well. So that was a big shock, I suppose, in the Cup. But just shows you take Nathan out of the team. You know, I think he will be a future captain for us, like full time. I think when Seamus probably goes, he probably will be the next Ireland captain. I think. Do give us some comments on that. Do you think, like Seamus Coleman? Look, we know coming towards the end of it now, showing what he can do in an interim management role. I mean, look, we never ever heard up to about 18 months ago the word interim manager as much. It seems to be the buzzword in football now, and Seamus Coleman's had a go at it now. So interim is the one. So yeah, I think Seamus obviously be a good coach down the line. Probably will be a really good manager, maybe a future Ireland manager. What's your thoughts on that? Do give us your comments. Be really appreciated. Right, we're going to the midfield. This is one I'm really keen to focus on because Cousin Will is back. So Josh Cullen straight away, not in the squad for Burnley. Jason Knight, 65 minutes in a 2-1 loss versus Wolves. And Jason Malumbi, 36 minutes in a 5-1 loss to Bournemouth. Benazaz is not in the squad for Middlesbrough, so I don't know how Conor got on over the weekend trying to find him. Andy Moore in 90 minutes, 2-1 loss to Sunderland. Jack Taylor, 73 minutes and a goal and a 3-0 win versus Bristol Rovers. Jamie McGrath, 24 minutes against Hearts for Aberdeen. And Cousin Will Smallbone, 23 minutes back and 3-0 win against Swansea City. Alan Brown still injured at Sunderland. And Mark Sykes, he's injured at Bristol City as well. So hopefully recovering well from whatever injuries these are. Luke O'Connell's game was postponed to Barnsley. And Bosun Lowell was an unused sub for Stoke City. We're big fans of him, myself and Conor. So we do want to see him playing soon. Conor Coventry is playing Charlton on Tuesday. And Rocco Vata, 67 minutes and a goal and a 4-1 loss versus Fulham. And what a goal it was.
Yeah, what a player, what a talent Rocco Vata is. It's safe to say he's one of our very best young talents at the moment, especially to have a winger of that talent coming through, something we don't produce that often. And he's really starting to make a name for himself in the Watford side. You'd say he's one of the first names on the team sheet right now. Obviously, things change. They have a lot of decent depth, but I've been very impressed with him since he's broke back into the team. His goals, assists, his quality on the ball, his ability to take men on, his football brain is superb. And it was all highlighted with the goal at the weekend. It wasn't just the finish, it was the touch, it was the turn, and it was the confidence, which is all you want to see from a young player, is that having no fear, which he doesn't have at all. And it's just great to see that. I think it's safe to say if he continues to play like he is at the moment, he will make his Ireland debut in March.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's a big games, obviously, Bulgaria in March, home and away. Obviously starting off in Plovdiv early on in the first one of that window. But, I think, do you think he will be experimental with March, though, Conor? Do you think he'll give opportunities to this? Is that the way he's going to approach it?
I don't know if it's more opportunities, but I think it won't be that he's forced or he's dying to give it. I think it'll happen. I just think that Bulgaria are a poor side, and that we'll probably, within 45 minutes of the second leg, you'd like to think that we'll have the tie either 3-0 up or 2-0 up, that it's safe to say Ireland are not going to lose to Bulgaria. I'd like to think we'll win the first leg 1 or 2-0, and then we'll score a goal in the first half of the second leg. That'll lead to more lads getting an opportunity. But if lads don't get an opportunity, don't deserve it. But I just think Rocco Vata is at the level now that it's not that he's just going to get an opportunity for the sake of giving a young lad a game. It's more that it's all earned through what he's done at Watford, and that he can see that he can make a clear contribution to Ireland already.
Yeah, I think the key thing with that March kind of squad as well, and look, we'll help the FAI here as well. The season tickets are still available. No ticket news at the moment for the away game yet on applications for that, or what way they're going to be doing it, obviously through the away portal. But I think it's a big window. That it's probably his last look at players who he thinks are going to be key for the qualification campaign. And we're speculating still. We were chatting off air earlier. Will there be a June camp? You would expect a friendly at least. And a June camp's going to be key as well. So, yeah, I think it might be an opportunity with players coming in to have a look at them and see how they fit in around the squad. Yeah, Rocco Vata, the form of him especially, just, and that incredible goal. I mean, look, we are guilty of hyping him up, but when you see a talented player do that, we need him, and we don't have many players who can do that. So, yeah, brilliant for him. Right, we're just going to go on to the attackers now. So do give us your comments as well. Evan Ferguson, injured at Brighton, still not playing. Troy Parrott, who won the Dutch Player of the Month, 73 minutes. Adam Eder, 73 minutes and a 4-1 win against Ross County. Tom Cannon, 76 minutes and a goal, 2-1 win versus Sunderland for Stoke. Sammy Schmodix, injured at the moment with Ipswich Town. Festi Ebasele was not in the squad at Watford, which is a bit of a concern, I suppose. Casey McAteer, 24 minutes, 6-2 win versus QPR for Leicester. Mikey Johnson, 27 minutes, 5-1 loss versus Bournemouth. Chidozie Ogbene, he's still out, sadly injured at Ipswich. Callum Robertson, not in the squad at Cardiff City. And also Michael Obafemi, not in the squad at Plymouth, who obviously cup giant killing there, I suppose, against Brentford. Aaron Connolly, 90 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Stoke City. Obviously, speculation that he's on the way to Millwall. And Sinclair Armstrong is injured at the moment, Bristol City. And Tyler Goodrum, 17 minutes, sent off, 3-1 loss versus Exeter. I didn't actually see the sending off there. What was that about? Do you know?
I seen actually I haven't actually watched it back. I actually meant to watch it back, but I remember looking at Twitter and Oxford fans were absolutely fuming about what happened and that it was never a red card. So you'd like to hope that it'll get overturned, but you never know what modern officials are so sticking by what the decisions they'd make, that they might only reduce it to one game. Well, if one game is not too bad, but you don't want to see a lad get suspended for 3 games, especially when they're so young. He started every single game for Oxford this season, so shows how highly he's rated there. But it's good to it's good to have a lad that's doing that. But it's great to see a few lads go at the weekend, and good to see we finally call out a mistake of Dave's from what he done with his OBIG. Festy was sick at the weekend, so it's nothing. Well, not where
Not
he was
injured.
ill. He was ill, so there's
All
nothing
right.
to worry about there.
But he hasn't been playing a lot though, has he?
No, that's a real worry in my head of why he's not getting enough minutes that he wants. They've been playing 4-3-3 and then when they're playing 5 at the back, they seem to be switching up a bit. And I think the fact he keeps getting yellow cards every week is not helping him. He just seems to do a stupid tackle every week or pull someone back because of maybe he just wants to get forward too much and comes back too excited to try and just win the ball back. But it's weird because he was playing brilliantly for Watford and he was one of the best wing backs in the league, and then it's now the opposite. He can't get back in the team, so you'd like to hope he'll get back in.
Yeah, hopefully. Like, he's very popular with the Irish lads. I mean, again, one of these players who we get a performance out of them, as we saw with that incredible kind of assist there in the last minute, the last time. And I think he's just very, very popular, isn't he? And he was at Wembley, and a player who gets the fans off their feet, I suppose, a little bit like Rocco as well. So both at Watford. So yeah, keep an eye on them. I'm going to try and catch a Watford game soon to hopefully see them both playing in the flesh. While we're here as well, just do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Really would be appreciated. And at Rep Tracker on X to follow all the Irish footballers coming up through the ranks. Conor's in contact. His contact book is, I'm jealous of it. He's in the know in Irish football. And so yeah, any little bit of news for us? Anyone breaking news? Anything? Anyone qualifying for Ireland that we don't know of? And
no, well, not knowing that we don't know of, because you're qualifying, but I'm sure we'll see more Louis Barry. Hopefully, we'll see Louis Barry in the March squad. It seems to be a lot of interest in him. It came out today that Celtic really want him, which obviously will always help when a lad qualifies for Ireland and go to Celtic. But I'm sure that's still up in its only interest at the moment. A lot of championship clubs he's linked with in loan, and as far as I know, all the paperwork is done for him to represent Ireland. It's just making it official and hoping that England don't all of a sudden say, "Oh yeah, we want you now, we want you now." Because it is, at the end of the day, it's very hard to turn down a country when they're calling you up to international senior football. But you never know what England are like, because we know what England are like. Sometimes they try and sway lads over and sell them a dream when they're just doing it to keep them away from another country. So I would be very hopeful though that we'll see Louis Barry in March, and like as I said, the paperwork is done, so I would be confident. And actually, Matt Healy, who was very impressive for the Ireland under-21s, will be leaving. He's at Royal France Bourriens, I think you pronounce it, in Belgium. His contract's up in the summer, and I believe he's asked to leave because he wants to move on, and he's ready for a step up in quality. So we'll see him move on this month. He's a very technical, brilliant footballer.
There we go. I mean, look, back to the Jim Crawford thing again there, Conor. I mean, like, we do have a lot of young players who are going to hopefully, it's as I said, we're all guilty of getting overexcited about some of these players, but there is a talent pool in Ireland. I firmly believe that. And it's just us finding these players, nurturing them, probably not getting carried away, but, they've got to find their feet, develop at their own kind of stage as well. And, I think even back to that original news of Jim Crawford's extension of the under-21 contract, I think we're in safe hands with him, bringing them through. And as well, behind the scenes, Irish football, you might not be aware of this, but a lot of the former players are involved coaching. But they've got their coaching badges through the FAI scheme as well. And, are all input, like Sean St. Ledger's there, isn't he, underage? We know Glenn Whelan's been involved there in the past. Seamus Coleman has obviously done his coaching badges, and look, now he's interim at Everton. But, these lads are highly respected, and, they can kind of say they've been there and done that. And I think we are in safe hands underage. It's something I think we have got right over the years. So long may that continue, and these players actually do kind of develop. Right, we're going to come on to your comments now. This is a part of the show I love. Within reason now, give us your comments, give us your views. We're the most interactive Irish football podcast, so we want to hear from you, and we're going to come on to your comments. Right, so the context of this obviously is that we've been chatting now for about an hour, I suppose, and lots of chat about Irish football, lots of news on the Irish players coming through. Nearly got 1,000 viewers there, so thanks so much for everyone for joining us this evening. What we do is a live pod once a week, and we also do retro series. Go back to the catalogue there, you'll see Conor and David's excellent recent videos on players who should be moving, players who are possibly eligible for Ireland, and also we've obviously got the Lansdowne Raw live show we did in November. Got parts 1 and 2 on that, where you hear Alan Kelly, Ian Hart, and Clinton Morrison chatting about Saipan, Roy Keane making their debuts for Ireland, and all them's great days in the green of Ireland, obviously at World Cups and Euros and things. So do give that a listen. Do give the show some feedback on that. Would be really appreciated as well. We've got lots of plans for the show in 2025, and we do appreciate you all watching and listening along. And if you are here, do make sure you do subscribe. Follow us on Twitter as well. We've got the handles there for Lansdowne Raw Pod on X, and obviously Conor at Rep Tracker. So we've got a couple of rogue ones here straight away, but Lansdowne Road, which is obviously Dave, should be at work, mate. He said hello to us, which was quite nice. But yeah, we've got some long-term listeners, of course, and followers. We do appreciate your ongoing support. Do spread the word about the pod. You know, we will be covering all the games in 2025. We're at every game. I'm in with the punters. I'm a proper fan. I go in the crowd with the lads. The two boys there up in the press box in the posh seats, drinking coffee and staying warm while I'm sipping out of a whiskey flask off an Irish fan. Darren Hartnett there. I had to work this out a long time ago, but Darren, long-term listener there. Great to see you back. Listening from work. How are you, lads? All very good, mate. Hope you're well. Also, we got David Dunn. Conor will be sleeping in a hostel in March. That's very nice of David there. Our usual host of the show. But anyway, he's not getting it back now. I'm growing into this, I think. Do let us have your feedback. Am I better than Dave? At all things, life. Right. Hi, lads. What did you make of Paul Nebel interview? I think his priority is playing with Germany, but if we qualify for a tournament, he'll make the switch. Any views on that?
I don't know if you've seen it with Neil O'Riordan, the interview done. It's interesting about the eligibility rules. I had it that if you're 21 and you play a competitive game of any sorts under 21s, that you can't play for another country. The FAI had it the same way, and other people here had the same way that I know. And Neil actually said that he spoke to someone at FIFA, and that's not the case. So it's kind of, you'd hope that the person in FIFA was wrong and or was right, and that he actually could switch to Ireland any moment. But I think we'll see him at the under 21s Euros in the summer with Germany. But he seems the type that he wants to play for Germany. But if an Ireland call up happens down the line, he'd be very open to it. But I think it's just one you have to wait and see on, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Some of these players coming through, or they have like Irish links, of course, and stuff, but they are often eligible for other countries, aren't they? And that's the problem that we have to face and be realistic. I know that there's sometimes a clamour for, we should just be investing and wanting our own Irish-born lads coming through, but you're just, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. Really, we've got to explore all outlets, and firm believer, very passionate about it, obviously born in London. But it's just it's what you feel, I think, ultimately for me. And if you're brought up the right way, as I'm trying to do with my kids, then they're gonna only have one choice. We also, our Irish London flag is, it's actually a quote from Gary Breen. It says, "When your country comes calling, it's not a choice," and that's the words he said to us at the Claddagh Ring one night. So great form as well that night as well. Well, Gary Breen, and really great performer for us as well. We've got Baylor here as well. Didsey is getting the same negativity from Prendy as Troy is getting from the media. He can't stand for this double bias no more. I've said this already. Love Didsey.
You're a disgrace to your country.
I saw Didsey. I told you this before. Turner's Cross after the Belarus game, himself and Darren Gibson were released from the squad. Didn't go to Euro 2016. Martin O'Neill obviously released them, and that was one of the most impressive things I've seen Didsey do on Ireland international duty, when he drank 3 pints at 6 a.m. before he got on a flight. That's the honesty of it. He had more pints than he did score goals for Ireland. There you go. But no, I do love him seriously. But yeah, I think there's a lot of hype and love for him that's probably
8 man of matches in 13 games says it all.
Jesus, yeah, but who were we playing then? I'd like to see who they were against.
All qualifiers.
Jesus, no, I don't know. We didn't qualify though, did we?
No, we
didn't qualify for it. No,
Conor Howard didn't miss an open goal.
and he let us down with Kenny, didn't he? He walked away. Was it him or Mickey walked away from? I don't know. Anyway, we did get your views here. Old Dude 420, Troy, Cannon, and Ferguson on current form. So that's the form. That would be your first choice there. Would that be interesting as well? Also, Obafemi going down to League One next season.
No,
He's
I
such a
don't think
mystery
so.
player, isn't he? But he's just a
Yeah.
frustrating player, isn't he? Obafemi.
So
Again, another
much
one.
talent, but just seems not to have the
Yeah.
right mentality to make it in modern day football. But I think he'll always have a club in the championship looking for him because he's that talented.
Yeah. It just comes in little bits, doesn't it? Though it's not just consistent with him. So over 1,000 viewers. Thanks again for your support this evening. It's amazing to see. Do give us your comments. We will be reading them all out. Dylan Cullen, hope there's truth in Louis Barry come to Celtic. Would be some signing and would automatically have him in the Ireland squad. We spoke a bit about him, didn't you?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah.
And also the news we spoke about earlier, Connolly to Millwall. Did you hear that? That's Martin Fitzpatrick, long-term supporter of the pod. Great to have you on board, Martin, as well. Often gives us a little bit of information on, steers us to some social media bits we might have missed. And also Baylor, Luca, still only 23 and captain of Barnsley. Surely championship sides would be scouting him in the summer. Any thoughts on
100%.
that, Ethan?
Yeah, as you know, Martin, I'm a big fan of Luke Connell, and I think that he should be playing at a lot higher level than what he is. And I think he was on a bad contract at Barnes, not in a bad one in terms of him, but in terms of clubs probably paying the money that Barnsley would have wanted to get him gone. But I think next season will be the last year on his contract, and if they're not playing in the championship next season, I'm sure we'll see a lot of clubs will be in for him in the summer. Barnsley won't want to lose him for free, and a player of his quality deserves to be playing at a higher level.
Yep. Okay. And Stephen O'Rourke, hey lads. Well, Stephen, how are you? This is old dude 420. If you're Brighton, you sell or keep. No point in loaning. I don't know. Like he this is about Evan Ferguson, of course. Like, he did extend that contract, didn't he? And he's on more money now, and a big deal as well. Like, I think it's a 4-year deal, isn't it? I think he signed. So
Yeah, and the thing is, Martin,
protecting that equity, aren't they?
if he goes and loan to West Ham now between January and the season and scores, say 10 goals, like that automatically puts his value right back up to where it was previously, and you'd have a lot more interest in him than currently is from the top clubs. So I don't think it's a terrible thing if they loan him if he goes out and loan this month.
Yeah, it's just, you've got to protect that value, I suppose. And even we're seeing speculation of Marcus Rashford going, and is that deal? It's got to be right for all the clubs and stuff. And we have to remember as well that probably doesn't really apply with Irish players now, but it could help them get moves. Is this Brexit thing can stop? For example, AC Milan can't sign Kyle Walker and Marcus Rashford. That won't apply to Irish players because and I think, isn't that why Bellingham's got an Irish passport?
Yeah, him and Conor Gallagher both have Irish passports for that reason.
So it helps that, but it doesn't apply to our lads, and we can get our lads moves and things, and that's why we can get abroad, of course, as well. But I just think with him, you could loan with obligation. This is just mad. This is modern football gone mad again now. Like the wages they're on. I can understand clubs not wanting to have to pay the whole wage package and things like that, and you have to play them. And that even goes on in the lower leagues. Obviously I've spoken on the past as well. I follow non-league team here, Enfield Town, where I live, and we had Alfie Tucker, under 19 Welsh international, and he played 14 games for us. He's been called back out now from his loan, but they had to play him basically, and then they didn't have to pay him. If they didn't play him, they'd have to pay. So it's crazy. So that's just modern football, and you think of it like that. But I'd like Evan to get a loan move though, where he'll score goals, like you said. Hopefully he'll do that. Stephen O'Rourke here again. Happy 2028 to all. Okay. Looking forward to the Euros already. Question for you lads. My opinion on League of Ireland is that it needs to have a new format similar to the GAA, have a team per county, having the best players play for their county. It would increase public interest and talent lost to the GAA because they would want to represent their county. Thoughts on that?
I don't know, feasible? Because you'd have a serious amount of footballers in Dublin that wouldn't have a county team to play for, and it's just, I don't think it would work in the long run because you'd have lads leaving their club constantly, and I don't know how you'd fit 11 of the best players in Dublin, especially. What would you do? You'd hand them out to other counties when you didn't have a team to play for. So I like the idea. I think it works for maybe underage football in terms of having the league teams as such to play in the Kennedy Cup, etc. But I don't think in men's football, I don't think that would work, to be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. Like, follow Kilkenny GAA with the hurling the course family from there. But we've got a Kerry lad down with us now, hurling with Kilkenny. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I can't see that being feasible, and it's too parochial, isn't it? I think that's the kind of thing with with the GAA and stuff. So Baylor again, your mate, digging me out for Didsy again, no doubt. Babi Bazunu gonna have to get a move unless Ramsdale leaves and gets assigned into another Prem club. Thoughts on that? Is there anything? Callum O'Dowd dropped. He's going for Callum there. I'm not having that.
I think, he's right on Bazunu. Bazunu has to get a loan this month because Ramsdale's not going to get dropped, and there's no reason for Bazunu to stay as a number 2. I'm sure we'll get to see him go to the championship now until the end of summer, and then after that, he'll most likely be Southampton number 1 next season. With the fact that it's safe to say there's a 99% chance we'll see them in the championship next season, which isn't an awful thing for Bazunu. A year back, another year in the championship will do him no harm at his age.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I mean, look, the championship's so competitive and more physical as well, and he'll get smashed around there, and that won't do him any harm as well where he is development-wise. So we've also got Martin Fitzpatrick. Lowell, very disappointed he got no game time. So yeah, we do want to see him with a bit of time. Yeah,
he's just not fit enough yet. That's the problem.
And this is not public. I like Conor's positivity, but I've no idea why he believes Ireland will easily beat Bulgaria. Sure, they're crap, but so are we. Nothing I've seen suggests we'll beat any team easily. Conor, firing shots there. Are you not public? Any response to that one?
Bulgaria are crap. They're so. If you don't have, we're football fans at the end of the day. We should become. I know there's always a negative D thing with Ireland, but Bulgaria lost 5-0 to Northern Ireland, and if anyone loses 5-0 to Northern Ireland, and we aren't confident of beating them, and I didn't even say we were going to go in and out there and hammer them. I just said that you'd like to think we could win 1 or 2-0 and then go 1-0 up in the first half of the second leg, which is not unrealistic at all in my mind, because we're playing a lot worse of a side, in my opinion, than what we played in Finland that night. So why can't we go there and beat Bulgaria? And people are afraid to admit that our squad is getting better and Heimer's starting to breed the right things.
Yeah. Again, a comment on Bulgaria here from Michael. Remember when that fixture didn't care? Now we have a worry with Gibraltar. And also, old dude, 420, bit of a nostalgia football fan here again, which is brilliant. Do go and listen back to our past episodes. We've done lots of kind of series on managers, key games we were at, or qualification campaigns and World Cups. So do go back and listen to the archives of that. Will probably be of interest to you. But Bulgaria have a solid football history. They made the semi-final of World Cup '94. Yeah, but that's 30 years ago, isn't it? Sofia is an intimidating stadium. Don't know what they're like these days. Like you said there, though, Conor, they got hammered by the North. We've also got more comments on this.
Either. It's in Plovdiv.
Yeah, Plovdiv as well. So it is going to be. We kind of feel we've turned a corner a little bit with Ireland, and some of these players are playing more often now, and things. Heimer's definitely on the road to something we hope, and we have to be positive and get behind the lads, of course. But that does seem to be a bit of positivity about it. Do give us your views on that, Darrell O'Connor. I think we'll comfortably beat Bulgaria over 2 legs, at least a draw away. Hopefully, nick a win. We should do them at home. Predictions for both legs, lads. So, yeah, that's what I just asked. Let us know what you think is going to happen in that game. And also, just for people traveling out there, yeah, you've got to be a bit wary of going out there. I think it isn't the most easiest kind of ground to get to, and part of the world is supposed to get to, and security and things, a little bit of hooliganism issue. Easy for me to say. But the FAI will, as Darrell said here, I know the FAI was to suss out security last month, but haven't heard anything since. We may stick together over there. It seems dodgy. Yeah, you just have to be on the ball traveling and be a bit wise into it now. Like, really good fan base, Ireland, of course. I'm sure the supporters liaison officer Gary Spain and the security people will be from the FAI will have done their due diligence there and checking things and where we are. We normally get a great guide from Gary and the FAI of what to expect, what gates to go to. It's actually a WhatsApp account that Gary runs as well that you can follow that information. We'll be sure to share it as well on Lansdowne Raw and all our pages and socials, just so everyone can stay safe traveling to these games. So yeah, and don't be afraid to reach out to us as well with any questions you've got about tickets or anything like that. We're happy to help at Lansdowne Raw. Very happy to help Irish team, Irish supporters Just on, we know not everyone goes to games, but if you are looking for tickets and things, how to get them, we can give you that information, or who to contact at the FAI, and the away ticket kind of situation as well, how you apply for that. We can go through that, and we will be doing a guide for that as well soon. We've got here this strange fellow now, this lad, he's getting a bit carried away with himself, seems to love him. We've heard of this lad before. I think he loves himself a little bit, this lad. 3 to Dublin 1. Yeah, this is our very own David Dunn of Facebook there, Lansdowne Road. He sometimes presents not as good as me, this show, but it's great to see you, Dave. I hope you're enjoying your night off, and I hope you're happy with what we're doing on the show. And someone said Muppet. I think that was to Dave. And then Dave's replied, "Don't call Martin a Muppet," but we know it's not aimed at me. Also, Martin Fitzpatrick again. Did I hear Johnny Kenny got on for Celtic and assist?
He did.
That happen,
Great.
Conor?
That's one of the best moments of the weekend was seeing Johnny Kenny make his debut for Celtic after what has been an unbelievable season for him at Shamrock Rovers. A lot thought that he'd never make it at Celtic, and now I know he hasn't officially made it yet as such, but to show that he's got his debut now at the weekend, got an assist, and Brendan Rodgers spoke very highly of him today. So hopefully we'll see him again feature again this week, and he'll get his first goals soon enough, because if he was scoring goals in the League of Ireland, he can definitely score goals in the Scottish League. And obviously there's more pressure on you at Celtic, but he's an immensely talented footballer. He's a brilliant finisher.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. And I follow a few people who on Twitter who follow Celtic and stuff, and they were saying though that he looked quite lively, and they're actually a bit scathing of Adam Eder, saying that he didn't look half-assed at all. And so you just worry a little bit about him. Again, we haven't actually mentioned him as a striker, and scored that goal against the Netherlands as well. That early penalty, didn't he? And again, one of the he's just a bit of a strange one, isn't he? Eder, again, fast tracked. But people are catching up with him, or he's been maybe found out a little bit, or just not what we kind of probably hoped. I don't know. He's a bit of a strange one for me. He's not in the Didsey level for me yet, though. But no, I do like him. But I think I'd rather Troy and Evan Ferguson over him at the moment. But again, I think we all need to be a bit patient with Evan. Certainly, still so young. I hope the attitude is right, that we're hearing it is. But he hasn't really been given this chance now at Brighton as we kind of hoped. And he does need to move out of there, but they've got to get it right. You look at Aaron Connolly when he moved and things that didn't really work out for him. A lot of stuff going on in the background there, of course, but we're hoping he will kick on and get a good loan move. Daryl O'Connor, I know officially the Department of Foreign Affairs can't not issue Irish passports if someone qualifies, but it sickens me. England players benefit from our passport. Well, yeah, I mean, it does happen in reverse as well, though. David Dunn, he holds a British passport, doesn't he, Conor?
Scumbag, that's all he is. Scumbag. Yeah. No benefit to holding one at all.
Look, Daryl, in all seriousness, though, look, that's just going to happen, sadly, with the kind of the way of the world at the moment and everything like that. And yeah, we should take it back off these lads anyway, really. But that's just where it is. Also, then, Scuzzy, is the new 20 teams not enough for you, Thomas? Third league. That must be a kind of in joke or something there. And Darrell O'Connor, it'll be interesting to see what clubs enter this third tier league. If there was a pyramid, my local Kilbarrack United are only one step down, being first in the Leinster Senior League. Yeah. Any comments on this new tier and what they're doing?
It's good. It's good to see the third tier coming in. It'll make a big improvement for the whole pyramid. Irish football. Simply 2 isn't enough. Even though we're a small country, 2 leagues isn't enough, and there's a lot of talent that'll probably go unnoticed in Ireland at the moment, especially young players that would go out and loan from teams in the top tier of League of Ireland that could get a loan to a third tier team and work their way up. I think it's a hugely needed thing for Irish football, and one that we will all benefit from in the long term.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a strengthening the football pyramid. I don't know enough about it in Ireland, but I see the level of, and it's something I'm passionate about, obviously, the football coaching as well. But, when you have, the levels of football are so vast. I mean, you look at, Salford the other night against Man City, like it just wasn't even a competition, was it? But, non-league football should be really, really good because so many people play football. And, yeah, if you don't make it at the top level and it just filters down and there is a safe place for them to play, young kids as well, that they don't fall out of love with the game when they're released from academies. I'm quite passionate about this because, it should be non-league should be really, really strong if you keep really talented players in the game. Not let them, if they don't make it at the top, it doesn't matter. There's still a level for everybody. And so, yeah, like you're right there, Conor, there should be a bigger pyramid in a sense in Irish football, because what will happen is you'll just lose kids even more to the GAA and rugby and all these other sports as well. So I think it's something that, yeah, they have to do and get it there as well. And we've got our last comment this evening, which is a lovely one. Kevin O, great show again, lads. And yeah, appreciate that, Kevin. Great to hear from you all. Over the 1,150 viewers this evening. You can catch up with this show. It will be on our YouTube channel, so do be sure to subscribe to the channel, get all the updates on it. We'll have another show probably during the week for you on any Irish breaking news happening or what's going on with the Irish players. As I said, follow Conor as well at Rep Tracker, and we will obviously be back next week. We will confirm when that is, and you'll get an announcement, of course. But if you subscribe, you'll be notified, of course. So it's important to do that. But it's been great fun this evening. Really do appreciate everyone watching the show this evening. And of course, you can contact us at all our social media platforms. Subscribe at Lansdowne Road. Message us as well on the Facebook page, Lansdowne Road. That is run by Dave, and we also all contribute to that. And check out our website as well for the latest information as well on articles on Irish football and some really good pieces there by Conor. We've got a fantastic writers group as well. Thanks to them lads for watching as well and their interaction, because they do keep us going with our WhatsApp group, which hops constantly through the day with breaking news on Irish football or funny little clips and things, just to kind of fill our show with you guys to let us know what is happening, so we can kind of share that with you as well. But yeah, thanks again, everyone, for watching. This is Lansdowne Raw. I've been Martin Prendergast. That's Conor McAvoy. And this has been Lansdowne Raw Live. Thank you.